Is medicine influencing how you're approaching chess, or is it the other way around?
I think it's the other way around. Chess came before medicine. I must say that going to medical school helped me because that's how I was introduced to this world of proper chess, because I never knew that existed. And I think that's been a key factor in my growth. So in that way, you could argue that medicine has been influential. However, chess does affect and influence significantly how you lead your life in many, many ways. For example, if I told you, be very careful about things you can't take back. When you make such a decision, think twice about it. Because once you make that decision, you cannot take it back. Be careful about that. Sounds like a life a life lesson, but in reality, it's also chess. Like pawns only move forward, they can't move back. So before you move a pawn, and I know this is contrary to what people believe because they think it's just a pawn. Before you move a pawn, you really have to think very carefully about it. Secondly, someone says that, not everything is up to you. Like it's not, you have to consider possibilities that are not entirely up to you. That sounds like you're making this decision, you're making this plan, but there are things out of your control. That's chess. You are told that you have finite resources. You don't have infinite resources. The resources you have at some point, you have to be very careful about how you use them. Please take stock of your resources. Figure out how to make the best of each of these resources. Sounds like life, but it's also chess. We say that unemployment is bad, Get your people to do something, make them productive. Don't just let them sleep at home and be lazy. If people are, that's like a same thing in chess. If you have a rook that's not developed, it's sitting back where it started, it's powerful, yes, it has potential, but it's doing nothing. So as a chess player, your key responsibility is to activate that rook, give it some work to do. And then someone says, working together is better than working alone. Together we are strong. Individually, we may collapse. Again, you need to bring your pieces together to work together. Those kinds of conversations. And then there's also the second part of life where one mistake can cost you everything. You've painstakingly over hours built a fantastic winning position. Then a moment of impetuousness, a moment of just lack of concentration, a slight lapse costs you your queen and therefore the game. And so many things, like it's never over until it's over. I remember one time I was playing a very strong lady player from East Asia. She'd actually beaten everybody in one of Kim Barry's chess tournaments. Kim Barry is one of the big organizers in chess. He's been here for over 20 years. He's a cornerstone, and he organizes very strong 4-round events. And so we only play 4 rounds. And in the 4th round, I'm playing this lady. And I had worked out a fantastic winning position. She was extremely tough. She beat everybody else before that, and it was a pretty strong group, small group. And as I played my last move, she stood up to shake my hand. And I thought she was resigning, but she wasn't resigning. It was a draw by stalemate. And I had just lost concentration for half a second after 3 hours of play. And that's how it is sometimes in life. So yeah, those are some of the lessons that you begin to understand that life and chess actually can really learn a lot, from chess.
Those are such powerful points on showing how chess really does mirror life, because and I'm here thinking how as doctors we need a way of sharpening our minds, especially people in professions where you really have to be careful about a decision that you're making. So I'm wondering, do you think doctors should actually train their minds the same way athletes usually train their bodies? Because I'm thinking it must be sharpening your decision making. For example, like previously you were the director at Roy Family and now at Jalaram. I'm sure it has influenced how you make your decisions, your clinical decision making process, or how your thought process and all that. So do you think us as doctors need some such kind of things where we are able to train our minds and sharpen ourselves? Because these days, doc, to go to TikTok, na Instagram, na drinking, na smoking, like you will find a doctor treating, diagnosing something, and they're treating a fellow doctor in yourself, be asking, wait, hold up, what are you doing? Is it that you're not reading? What is happening? Do you have too much going on in life? What else? So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, the reality is that doctors are humans. And that's really one fundamental thing that we have to remember. So this point doesn't just apply to doctors. it applies to everybody. So in general, the perception is that doctors are probably bright, although the reality is that Kenyans in general are bright people, especially those who excel in their respective fields. So then the second thing is that doctors have achieved something significant. By being a doctor is not a mean feat, and that is true, but also applies to sort of the top people in every other area of society. So what we are seeing now is an issue that is not unique to the healthcare workers. It's something that transcends sectors, if I may put it so. And your point is 100% valid, because one of the things that happens is that if you don't use or you don't develop a particular skill or talent that you have, then automatically it begins to wear out. It sort of rusts out. I think that's the correct term. And we are not mindful a lot of the time of what we need to do to sharpen, for example, our minds. So for sure, in my own life, chess has played a big role in how I approach decision making, how I approach situations and circumstances. And in fact, it's possible to say that even the positions that I've held, where I've had a chance to be a leader and how I've handled those leadership positions, the need to be strategic and to think about the future and to plan out how this is going to play out, a lot of that has come from chess. You see, in chess, you have to balance things that probably look fairly abstract and
Yeah.
find things that connect them and make a plan and a path that's sort of like the best fit. Now, sometimes it's perfect, sometimes it's not so perfect, but the principle is that it gives you a method where you can actually sort of, your decisions are not haphazard. They're based on something, and you have to really go through that process before you make a move. And that's very important in life as well. Now, chess is one of those sports that allows you to use both the left and the right side of your brain, the logical side, where you can compute on the left side, and also the creative side and memory side. And in addition to that, for you to be very good, you must constantly read. You must have a good memory. You have to be invested. And even beyond that, there's something else that sometimes goes under the radar a little bit, because when you're playing chess, you're fully focused on the chess. The ability to focus on one task and stick to mission, stay focused, is super important. And subconsciously, as you do all these things, then you build certain muscles, certain abilities, and you develop, certain abilities. Doctors, 100%, because of the decisions you make day to day, being in a space where you can actually use all these faculties, develop all of them, chess is one of those places where you benefit.